My name is Dr Archana Dhawan Bajaj. I am a consultant in infertility and IVF with Nurture Clinic, which is based in Delhi. The IVF market worldwide is expanding by leaps and bounds, as I'm sure you're aware. Incidence of infertility per se seems to be rising. The global trends of getting married late, having children late, people want to prefer to sort of settle themselves in life and then decide to start having a baby. Then the effect of pollution, stress, lifestyle, everything on the whole seems to be catapulting the incidence of infertility per se, both in India and outside in the outside world. So let's say the domain of infertility or the demand for of an infertility based practice seems to be rising dramatically. Since we are one of the most populated countries in the world, so obviously our requirement for the service per se will be higher. India has a fair number of IVF clinics, but if we were to look at a clinic per population basis, we still have a huge demand. And while most of the world already has adequate IVF facilities, we seem to be lacking behind, and this is where a lot of foreign investors and foreign players seem to be coming in. So overall the trend of the market is a growing trend, and we seem to have a lot of people coming in from different parts of the world investing in the Indian IVF market now. Market worldwide, most of the countries there is a very strict regulation for IVF. If one was to look at markets like the European market, American market, Australian market, and Britain, each country has its own regulatory body. We have the HFEA in UK, which is like a watchdog for all ART related procedures. Unfortunately, we do not have laws in our country up until this point. We do have guidelines, and we do have the ICMR, which has made guidelines, which really the onus to follow them is on the clinician and on the ART practitioner per se. Most of us do try and stick to the guidelines as far as possible, but we're seriously lacking in laws, in strict regulations, and of course in a body which would be able to look after or control or organize the ART practice in India. Challenges for any ART practitioner in India start from basically being able to make people understand the domain of ART, the kind of services it would be providing, who are the set of people who actually need to look at it, getting people out of the mindset of not seeking fertility treatment, getting the family involved in the fertility treatment. This is where the basic challenge starts up until having a serious form of regulation. So challenges are by far many. We do not have enough, let's say to begin with, we do not have enough ART centers. The country per se needs many more. You need more doctors who are trained. When I say trained, who are actually trained well enough to carry out the practice. A gynecologist who's specialized in obstetrics and gynecology will need to educate him or herself further, will need to train him or herself further to be able to render a complete IVF practice. So lot of challenges, lot of issues which need to be addressed. And of course, the need for regulation of the ART practice per se, need to look at surrogacy in the larger picture of things, need to address the newly arrived ban on surrogacy. So there's so many features which need to be each picked up and evaluated and analyzed and corrected in our practice. I'm sure you've already, you must be aware of this recent ban on surrogacy. Now, to me as an ART practitioner, and to me as a female who is dealing with infertile couples, it's very hard to understand that where is the need for a ban like this. We all understand and accept that whenever you have any practice, be it surrogacy, be it IVF, be it a kidney transplant, be it anything at all. Wherever there is a practice, there will be a good practice and a bad practice, and there will be malpractices. So what we really need is a watchdog, or say a trust, a committee, something like the PCPNDT, which is doing so well to regulate a certain aspect of the practice. What we need is a regulatory body. What we don't need is a ban. One of the advancement or breakthrough, whether you want to call it an advancement or not, because a lot of parts of the world already seem to be doing it, is pre-implantation genetic diagnosis or pre-implantation genetic study of the embryo. That, to my mind, seems to be a great breakthrough, because a lot of pre-existing diseases can be screened, and the embryo which is free of the disease can be transferred. Then women who are of extremes of age, or who don't seem to have a very good egg count, or who have had multiple IVF failures, they can benefit a lot out of this. So for a lot of women who were earlier or a lot of couples who were earlier out of the domain of any kind of chance to have their own biological children, can now do so by excluding diseases, or sifting the embryos, and putting back the best, or putting back the disease free. Like for people with thalassemia, if both the parents are thalassemics, hemophilia, DMD, there's so many diseases which earlier were not, till the child was in the womb, and the analysis was done antenatally, or more unfortunately postnatally, can all be now done pre-implantation. So that takes away a lot of stress from the couple.